Festival of the Lost is by far one of the best seasonal events in Destiny 2. It has amazing new ornaments and skins, really fun theming, awesome music, and overall the feel of the event is really enjoyable. This event also brings new special activities, new loot for completing the event themed activities, and fun Halloween themed missions to enjoy. During this event, the tower gets completely rethemed and has multiple Easter eggs or items scattered across it to create a fun scavenger hunt experience in the tower. This event also takes place during the Halloween and fall season, which is one of my favorite times of the year. The event also creates a really fun experience to enjoy with the rest of the Destiny community, and often will bring many players back to the game who may not play it often. However, since its inception back in 2014 to 2015, the excitement and the hype for the event each year has started to fall. Through either the monetization of the event or the lack of effort put into new activities or items in each event, Festival of the Lost has become very much so a copy and paste event for Destiny 2 each year. Now, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy this event even with all its flaws in recent years. People who save up their Bright Dust can get multiple cosmetic sets that look really awesome, and although sometimes I don't enjoy the theme of the year like the mechs from 2022, it's still really awesome to be able to save up Bright Dust to spend on these really fun cosmetic sets from the past years. In this video, I'll be talking about the history of Festival of the Lost, what made it so special, and what led to the tragic downfall of Festival of the Lost in Destiny 2. Now, before Festival of the Lost was even an event in the game, back in October of 2014, Destiny had a small gift they gave to players that included a consumable which, when consumed in the tower, would allow you to buy a new transmat effect from Xur, which creates an effect of a bunch of bats flying around you when you spawn in. There was also a brand new Sparrow which was Halloween themed, and unfortunately this is all that came out in 2014. However, it was a great precursor to what Destiny would be getting in 2015. The first iteration of Festival of the Lost began in late October of 2015. Players were met with decorations scattered throughout the tower, as well as meeting with Ava Levant, who would present players with the quest Sweet Memories. This quest required players to collect candy from vendors around the tower, and once this quest was completed, 3 more quests would open and require players to collect masks and use them in different situations. Ava Levant would also give you a candy bag, which you could fill by killing ads across Destiny 1, and when you finally filled the bag, it could be returned to her 4 total times and you would get a random mask each time. The main rewards for Festival of the Lost in the first year were masks, emotes, and cosmetics. There were tons of awesome masks you could get, such as the Skull Mask, Exotic Engram Mask, or Atheon Mask, which you could obtain through, again, giving Ava Levant the filled candy bag, or buying the rest of them. First year Festival of the Lost sadly didn't have any unique activity, but for it being the first Festival of the Lost event back in 2015, the addition of filling a candy bag by killing ads was enough to fulfill the enjoyment of players. The second year of Festival of the Lost was a lot like the first year. You were once again greeted to Halloween themed decorations in the tower and could complete quests from Ava Levant. This year, however, all the masks you acquired would automatically drop in legendary rarity, so you wouldn't lose obtained masks. This year, there were 3 masks you'd obtain for free, and the rest were only available through the Eververse store. This began a trend of many Eververse store exclusive items in Destiny events. There were some other cool items you could acquire, such as new shaders, including an all-black shader, and a new flaming mask with the head of a wolf compared to the previous year's skull flaming mask. Compared to 2015's Festival of the Lost, where there was no unique activity, this year had a Halloween-themed Trials of Osiris. This version of Trials made it where you couldn't revive teammates, radar was disabled, and if you aimed down sights for too long, you would see a spider crawl down the screen. If you were able to win 5 games during the Halloween Trials of Osiris, you received the Midnight Hump emblem. Although there were a few masks that were locked behind a paywall, it was an overall fun Festival of the Lost. Sadly, 2017 had no Festival of the Lost, as Destiny 2 was just released a month prior and it was too soon to introduce a themed event to a brand new game. Players were forced to wait 2 full years from 2016 to 2017 to finally get a new Festival of the Lost. In 2018, this year added a ton for Festival of the Lost. Firstly, Ava Levante was gone, so Amanda Holiday was the main person you would visit for quests in 2018. It's also worth mentioning that in the last week of Festival of the Lost in 2018, Amanda Holiday would give you a quest that upon being completed would award you the exotic weapon Thunderlord. This weapon was in Destiny 1, but brought back during Festival of the Lost in 2018. The 2018 Festival of the Lost also added a new unique activity called the Haunted Forest. Players were given 15 minutes to clear as many sections of the Haunted Forest, then fight a boss at the end. The process would then repeat itself, becoming progressively harder each time. Many players enjoyed this as it allowed for experienced players to challenge themselves to get as far as possible, while allowing newer players to at least beat a few rounds. The forest was also dark and added the Halloween experience in Festival of the Lost that you expected. You could also get the horror story auto rifle for completing the Haunted Forest this year. On top of that, you were also able to get ephemeral engrams, which would reward you with Halloween items such as ships, ghosts, and sparrows. They are basically Eververse engrams, but Halloween themed. A lot of players would probably call this their favorite year for Festival of the Lost. Ava Levant was back in 2019, and the Haunted Forest was the activity again for this year. The Haunted Forest dropped the Braytech Werewolf auto rifle this year as well. There were also new armor ornaments that could be purchased with saved Bright Dust, but you unfortunately couldn't get the Imperial engrams this year. All the ships, ghosts, and sparrows, apart from the free ones you could earn, were locked behind a paywall this year. Festival of the Lost 2020 was interesting because most masks were available to get for free as compared to previous years. However, this year brought back the Haunted Forest once again, which for many players was too many times in a row. This year, Bungie didn't bring any new weapons to drop, but just re-added old assets and guns with different roles. This would begin the trend of just reusing assets from previous events to put less effort into these events. You were also able to obtain a mummified ship, ghost, and sparrow for free through completing triumphs, which was neat. You also had the typical Eververse only items, but Destiny still brought enough free items to ensure this wasn't a major problem. Festival of the Lost 2021 finally saw a new activity which had you go through lost sectors and defeat enemies. Although at first this seemed interesting, the activity wasn't difficult whatsoever, and if you progressed through it too quickly, it would have you wait a few minutes for the activity to end. I mean, you're just standing around waiting for this activity to end. It got boring. This year also had a vote to determine the armor set brought, and for some reason people chose dinosaurs over monsters. Don't ask me why. Both 2020 and this year really started to show the community how little effort Bungie put into Festival of the Lost events, but we'll dig more into that later. Around the 2021 to 2022 time, Bungie started bringing these small event cards into seasonal events. These would cost $10 on top of the new Eververse items that came to the festival. Many new cool items were locked behind a paywall, and less new items were introduced in 2022. Not to mention the event card is basically shoved down your throat for the entire event because it's just right in your face alongside all the free rewards. And not to mention, every single year if you're purchasing the deluxe version of each expansion, that's already $100 you're spending on Destiny. And then they add this $10 event card you can buy, and there's multiple events a year, so that adds up. Festival of the Lost 2022 also used the same Lost Sector activity, but they did bring a new sniper rifle that matched the mech theme of the year. However, the Lost Sector Halloween event was very easy, and for the seasoned Destiny player, this became boring after only 1 to 2 playthroughs. Not to mention, it was also the exact same as the year before, and since it was more boring than the Haunted Forest, the effects of bringing the same activity back were more felt. When looking at the history of Festival of the Lost, you can clearly see the progression of each year up until a few years ago, where everything has kind of been the same other than the cosmetics, which can be monetized. Bungie in recent years has put little effort into improving the actual activities, which has caused the events to become boring fast. Something that Aztecross said is that Bungie just doesn't really add anything new or surprising anymore. Even just adding a Halloween decoration to enemies in Lost Sectors would add something new to the Lost Sector activity. The focus on new Eververse items or monetary items has caused the free items to be brought back each year. Many of the masks that were once the centerpiece of older events are brought back just to fill space and don't really seem that interesting anymore. The price of armor ornament sets also cost a whopping 6,000 Bright Dust per character, which can be expensive for people who don't already own some of the ornament sets. With the final shape coming out, I'm hoping that Bungie will mix it up in 2023 and create something truly unique and fun for Festival of the Lost. Hopefully Bungie won't just bring back the same Lost Sector event. Reused assets, nothing new, nothing surprising. An increase in more payments per events has just caused a massive decline in the hype and build up for the Festival of the Lost event. For Destiny to start building the trust back with the community, for us to actually start looking forward to the events each year. I mean, I do look forward to the event, but not nearly as much as I might have if they changed it up a lot more, because just bringing the new stuff back over and over can get so repetitive, so boring, that you just don't look forward to the events anymore. Typically, typically with the events recently, you play for about a day, get all of your free stuff done, and then there's nothing really left to do other than play other activities. Although it's unlikely Bungie's gonna change anything, I'm hoping they maybe reduce the price of some of these costly items or make more items available for free instead of just bringing back old items for free, because once you already get them, they more so turn into a throwaway reward and it becomes kind of boring. Let me know what you think about the event. Do you like it anymore? Do you think it's boring? Don't forget to like the video. We also have a Twitch channel we'll be going live on soon if you guys want to support. Link in the description. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Peace out.